Welcome to BioThought. So today we are going to discuss a very new session regarding the CSAR Life Sciences, Net JRF, evolution and animal behavior. Okay, so let's go through this topic. I think you will enjoy this session and keep watching. Yeah, so myself Anjali Krishna, you, a NEET biology expert and life science expert. So let us go through this today's concept short of evolution and animal behavior. You could see here, see the evolution, the basic meaning. What do you mean by evolution? That is from the Latin word evolvere. This name came, that is to unfold. Evolvere. Evolvere means to unfold, to unroll, that is reveal the hidden potential. That is the meaning of the word evolution. Then the modern meaning is change in form, that is DNA to body structure and behavior across generations. So in the first concept card, what do you mean by evolution? That basic meaning we should understand. That is, it is evolved from the word, it is derived from the word evolvere, and to unfold and unroll its meaning, that is reveal the hidden potential. And the modern meaning is change in form and behavior across generation. Right, there is a change, right? See, there is a change in form and behavior across generations. That is DNA to the body structure. Okay, next concept card is biological evolution. Biological evolution. So in this we can see that there is a change in population properties over generations. The genes get mutated, individuals are selected, that we used to say natural selections and all, right, in the Darwin concept. Populations evolve, that is population is a unit, the species together constitute the population. So short term, which we could see as biological evolution, is the breeding experiments, antibiotic resistance, likewise. And long term biological evolutions, which we used to see, is a new species lineages studied via fossil record. You could see in the fossil record as a new species are formed, and that lineages, it will take time. You know that evolution is a gradual process, it will take time. So in lower organisms like antibiotic resistance, we could see in short term, that is okay, we can see in the short term. But in long term, the new species lineages and all we used to see in the long term biological evolution. So next is some scientists which have and their contributions. So wait, that is here, the first one is, wait a second, some changes, yes, Plato and Aristotle, that is fixity of the species. So he believed that species are permanently fixed and unchanging. He said that it is permanently fixed likewise, and it is unchanging. So he brought the theory of essentialism, and variations within individual are just accidental imperfections. He says that some variations happens due to accidental imperfections, and he believes in theory of essentialism, and he says that the species are permanently fixed and unchanging. So next is Anaximander, that is a spontaneous generation concept. He proposed abiogenesis, that is living organism is arriving from non-living matter, and his concept is supported by the Plato, Aristotle and Van Helmont. So next is Father Soros and special creation theory. He says that individually by God this present form each species is created, and this is rejected by evolutionary biologists because it does not explain adaptation. Next is Francisco Redi. He believes in the biogenesis theory, that is living organisms only arise from living things, not non-living things or not spontaneously. And this is supported by Spallanzani and Louis Pasteur. Next is Carl Linnaeus. Carl Linnaeus means taxonomy. We know that the binomial system of classification. So he's the father of taxonomy, developed binomial nomenclature, and he did not believe in evolution and supported separate creation and fixity of species. That fixity term we already said in this Aristotle concept, and he believes in separate creations and all. He supported that. He did not believe in evolution. His classification system still used for phylogenetic trees and all. We know that his classification system of binomial nomenclature is widely used. And George Cuvier is the next, catastrophism theory. So father of paleontology, that is the fossil studies. And he says that earth shaped by the catastrophic extinctions followed by new creations. That is, he says that always some catastrophic extinction happens, and in a periodic way, and then what happens, followed by new creations. And repopulation after catastrophes causes changes in organisms, and use comparative anatomy to classify animals. See, the comparative anatomy and the fossil records are all used to classify the animals. And then James Hutton, his theory is uniformitarianism, geology, and earth is not static. He says that earth is not static, it is a gradual slow process, that is erosion, lava, sedimentation, these kinds of things happens, and life form get trapped in the sedimentary layers. These sedimentary layers, this life forms get trapped, and what happened, they become the fossils. And that tiny changes accumulate over time, divergence. That tiny changes will cause the divergence. Okay, so James Hutton believed in uniformitarianism theory. Okay, for him earth is not static, it is undergoing gradual slow process of erosion, larva, and sedimentation, and in that sedimentary layers becomes fossils. Then Charles Lyell, Principles of Geology, supported Hutton's uniformitarianism and stated that the process altering the earth and uniform throughout the time. So whatever happening the process in the earth, that altering the earth, that happens uniform throughout the time, was said by the Charles Lyell Principles of Geology, and he also supported the James Hutton's uniformitarianism. And then Alfred Wegener, the continental drift theory. He proposed in 1915 continents were joined and drifted apart from over 300 million years. So same freshwater reptiles are found in what? He says that it is found in South America and also in Africa. Why? Before it was in one continent, and then later it separated due to continental drift. Simple answer. Thomas Malthus Population Principles. In 1798 essay, human populations grows faster than the food supply. Death and famine are inevitable. Okay, death and famine are inevitable. That is, poverty is there, food, death is there, that are all inevitable. We cannot change. But he says that human population is growing faster than the food supply. And this idea gradually influenced the Darwin's forming natural selection theory. Okay, and the 18th century shift is that before 1700s, that is 1700s, species seen as fixed from origin. Like they used to say permanently fixed and all. Aristotle used to say, yes. Lamarck and Darwin introduced models showing that how one species transforms into another, ending the fixity concept. So Lamarck introduced like transforming to another and all, but Darwin used to use the word evolved. And so from that point onwards, the fixity concept got an end. So when we are coming to these conclusions, we can say that the evolution term is derived from the Latin word evolvere, to means to unfold and unroll. And the definitions, there is short-term biological evolutions in breeding experiments and antibiotic resistance. Long-term, we can see in the new species lineages studied via fossil record. And Plato, Aristotle, the fixity of species. Anaximander, spontaneous generations. Father Soras, that is a special creation. Francisco Redi, biogenesis. And Carl Linnaeus, taxonomy, binomial nomenclature. George Cuvier, catastrophism. And James Hutton, that is uniformitarianism, geology. And Charles Lyell, Principles of Geology, and also supported the Hutton's uniformitarianism. Alfred Wegener, the continental drift theory, and Thomas Malthus, the population principle, and supported or influenced, Darwin got influenced in forming later the natural selection theory. And the 18th century shift was that Lamarck and Darwin introduced a model showing how one species transforms to another or evolves to another. That concepts were shown, ending the fixity concept. So that's all regarding today's concept card of this evolution and animal behavior series for the daily net JRF. And please keep watching, and you will go through the more depth concepts and crack your exams easily. So all the best.